quick demo of this Angular 5 tutorial. This is a step-by-step tutorial on how to create to-do list application in Angular 5 using Firebase. So here we have the final output of this tutorial. In order to add a new task into this list, we have a pair of text box and a plus button here. So let me add a new task, plan my trip. Then click on this plus button here. So here we have added plan my trip into the list. Once we complete this task, you can click on this circle here. So here we have updated task status to completed. Inside this list, we have sorted these tasks so that pending task will be top of the list and completed task will be there on bottom of the list. In order to delete a task, you can click on this trash icon here so that that particular item or task will be deleted. I hope you will find this tutorial helpful for your upcoming Angular 5 projects. So please watch till the end of this video tutorial. What's up YouTube? Welcome to .NET Mob. In this video, we will learn how to create a to-do list application in Angular 5 using Firebase DB. So let's get started. Before that, I would like to ask you a favor. If you found this video helpful, please thumbs up this video. If you are new here, please be subscribed to this channel .NET Mob. So here is my Visual Studio Code editor. I will be using this IDE for demonstration purpose. First of all, we have to create an Angular 5 application. So here is my folder, project folder. Inside this project folder, we will create our application. So let me copy this file directory from here. Then back to VS Code editor. Go to file, then open folder. Let me paste the directory here, hit enter, then select the folder. In order to create an Angular 5 application, you can use Angular CLI command in your command prompt or integrated terminal from this IDE. So I will be using integrated IDE from VS Code editor. Go to view, then integrated terminal. In order to create an Angular application, you can use this command ng, then new, then application name. I will name this application as to-do list app. Hit enter. It will create the application and install some packages from npm. So here we have created the project for to-do list app. Now in order to run this application, first of all we have to switch into this project folder, to-do list app. So you can do this cd to-do list app. In order to run an Angular application, you can use this command ng, then serve --open, hit enter. It will open our application in default browser from port number 4200. So here it is. This is how the application looks like. Before getting into this Angular application, we have to create Firebase DB. So go to console.firebase.google.com. It will automatically log in with your Gmail account. Now we have to create a Firebase project. For that, you can click on this add project here. I will name this project as to-do list app. Click on create project. Once we create the project, it will show the project dashboard like this. Now we have to change some permission for this database here. Go to database, then click on get started. Go to rules tab here. Then we have to change permission for read and write operations. I will set it as true here for both read and write operation. Finally click on publish. Now I will dismiss this warning message here. Now back to project overview. Now in order to interact with this Firebase DB from our Angular application, we have to add the Firebase project configuration inside this Angular 5 application. For that, you can click on this option add Firebase to your web app, then copy this configuration object from here. Then back to VS Code editor, then open your environments folder. Inside that you can see environment.ts file. I'm going to add a new property here, Firebase. Okay, then I will paste the configuration here. Now in order to work with Firebase project from Angular application, we are going to install some official packages from npm. They are Firebase and Angular Fire 2. So let's install these required packages. For that, you can click on this plus button here, then navigate to this project folder, to-do list app. Then you can use this command npm install, then Firebase, then version, then Angular 5.2, then version, then double dash save. I have given this npm command in video description. You can copy paste from there. So here we have successfully installed required packages. Now let's check how we can use these packages. For that, go to app-module.ts file. First of all, I'm going to add import statement for adding classes from these two packages. So here it is, Angular 5 module from Angular 5.2, then Angular 5 database module from Angular 5.2 database. Now we have to initialize this Angular 5 module using this configuration inside this constant environment. So first of all, we are going to add an import statement for this constant. So here it is, import from. First of all, we have to get out of this app folder. So we need to add two dots here. Then we have environments folder. Inside that we have environment.ts file. From that file we have to import environment constant. Now inside this imports array we can add these Angular 5 classes like this. First of all, we have Angular 5 module and we have initialized this module with the configuration that we have saved inside this property Firebase. Then we have added Angular 5 database module. Now we are done with connecting Angular 5 application with Firebase project. Now let's design this application. In order to design this application, I will be using Bootstrap and phone over some icons. So let me open index.html. Inside that we have to add the stat sheet reference for Bootstrap and phone over some icon from MaxCDN. Now we have to create required component and service classes inside this application. For that, we have to open one more terminal. So click on this plus button here, then navigate to project folder. As you can see here, my folder path is too long. In order to hide this long path, you can do this prompt, then $. Okay. In order to create an Angular component, you can use this Angular CLI command, ng, then g for generate, then c for component. Then I will name this component as to-do component. So you can just type to-do, then hit enter. So it will create a folder with name to-do. Inside that you can see corresponding files like style sheet, then TypeScript, HTML, and then a test file with extension spec.ts. Now inside this to-do folder, we have to add a service class. For that, I'm going to add a new folder. Right click on this, then new folder. I will name this folder as shared. We have to create a service class inside this shared folder. So right click on it, then open in terminal. In order to create a service class, you can use this command ng, then g for generate, then s for service, and I want to create a to-do service, so I will just type to-do here. Right now we have created to-do service class here. So here we have created one component and one service class. Once we create a component using Angular CLI command, same component will be registered inside this app-module.ts file. So here we have an import statement for to-do component, and here we have added that component inside this declarations array. So this is automatically done by Angular CLI command. So this is the overview of this application structure. Here we have the source folder src, and here we have the default folder app for app component. Inside that we have to-do folder for to-do component. Inside that we have a shared folder with to-do service class. We have configured Firebase connection inside app-module.ts file using the Firebase connection details saved inside this environment.ts file. Inside index.html, we have added CDN path reference for Bootstrap and found our some icon style sheets. Back to VS Code editor. Before getting into application design, we can complete our service class. So here we have the service to-do service inside shared folder. So here is the default to-do service created by Angular CLI command. Inside this to-do service class, we will deal with Firebase DB interactions. So first of all, we have to add an import statement for required classes here. So here we have imported Angular Fire database and Angular Fire list from Angular Fire 2 database. Okay. Now in order to work with Angular Firebase DB, we have to create an object of Angular Fire database class. Private Firebase DB, it's of the type Angular Fire database. Now I'm going to define a property to store complete to-do list items from Firebase DB. So here it is, to-do list, it's of the type Angular Fire list. In order to retrieve all the to-do list items into this variable, I'm going to define a new function here, get to-do list. We will save all of these to-do list items under this titles node. Okay, so in order to retrieve all of them, we can do this, and then we will initialize this to-do list variable with the result returned from Firebase DB, and here we have returned this list to the function caller. In order to add a to-do list item into Firebase DB, I will define a function with name addTitle with a parameter title of the type string. In order to add or insert a new record into Firebase DB, we just need to call this push function from Angular file list object, which is to-do list. Okay, this dot to-do list dot push, and here we have the object to be inserted. It has two properties, title, then is checked. Is checked property is used to indicate whether this item or job is completed or not. I'm going to define two functions here, check or uncheck title, then remove title. For this function check or uncheck title, we have two parameters, $key and flag. Whenever we insert a new record into Firebase DB, it will automatically create a unique string to identify each of these records. We will use that unique key in order to identify items inside our application. So we will be passing this unique key from this to-do component. Along with that, we have a flag of the type boolean to indicate whether this item is done or not. So it will have true or false value. So using that key, we can update each check property of that particular item using this line here. This dot to-do list dot update, first parameter is the unique key, and then here we have the object with updated data. And for delete operation, we have remove title function. It has only one parameter, $key. In order to remove a record from Firebase DB, you can do this dot to-do list dot remove function, and we have to pass that particular item key inside that function. So here it is, $key. So here we have done with to-do service class. Now we can design this application using this list property, to-do list. So we will start application design from root component itself. As you know, root component of an Angular application is app component itself. So here is the corresponding HTML app component.html file. So this default HTML is responsible for this design here. So let me get rid of this default HTML. Instead of that, we need a div with class container. So this is a shorthand method for creating a div with class container. Otherwise, you can call it as emmet abbreviation. If you hit tab on your keyboard, it will create a div with class container. Inside this div, we want to add a new div with class raw, which is from Bootstrap. Inside this class, we need another div with class called md6 in order to add same margin from left and right side, offset md3. Then hit tab. Rest of the design will be done inside this div. I will hand over that to this to-do component. So we just need to add this to-do component selector. Let me copy this and pasting here, then hit tab. It will create the appropriate tag. Now let me save all of these modifications. Then back to the application here. So here we have a paragraph showing to-do works. Okay, this is from to-do component. In order to design the REST application, let me open corresponding HTML file, to-do component.html. Inside this HTML file, we are going to list to-do list items from Firebase DB using this property inside this to-do service class to-do list. In order to design this component HTML, we need data from this to-do list variable. But inside this HTML, we can only access variables from corresponding HTML TypeScript file to-do component. In order to access this variable to-do list inside this component, we are going to inject this to-do service inside this to-do component. For that, first of all, I'm going to add an import statement for to-do service. Then we have to add this to-do service inside the component providers array here. Providers is equal to, then we will add this to-do service here. Apart from that, we have to declare a private parameter inside this component constructor here. So here it is, private to-do service of the type to-do service class. In order to design this HTML, it would be better if we can convert that list into an array. So I'm going to define an array here. To-do list array, it can be of any type. Now inside this ng-only lifecycle hook, we can call this get to-do list function. For that, we can do this dot, then injected service name to-do service dot get to-do list. If you hover on this get to-do list function, you can see that this function returns Angular file list. We need something that returns observable so that we can subscribe to that observable. So you can make another function called snapshot changes. It would return an observable of Angular file action. So we can subscribe to this subscribe. Inside this subscribe function call, I'm going to define an arrow function like this. We have a parameter, single parameter item. First of all, we have initialized this array to an empty array. Inside this item parameter, we have the data collection from Firebase DB. So we have to iterate through this item variable in order to convert that into an array. So here we have a for each loop. It has a parameter element. Inside that we have a local variable x, which is initialized with this property element.payload to JSON. That means this will return a JSON data corresponding to the inserted data. That means we are going to save a new object with these properties title and isCheck. So this function called element.payload to JSON will return a JSON object of this type. In order to retrieve the unique key of the corresponding element, we have assigned element.key into this property in this JSON object. $key. Finally, we have pushed this object into this array. So here we have converted this Angular file list into a normal array. We have made this conversion inside an observable subscription. So whenever we make changes inside Firebase DB, this subscribe function will be called and thereby this array will be updated. After this conversion, I want to sort this list based on this isCheck property from false to true. So to-do list item which is not checked will be there on top of the list, and item which is checked will be there on bottom of the list. Now we can design this to-do component. So let me get rid of this default HTML. Instead of that, I will add this header. Here we have a div with a class Jumbotron from Bootstrap. Then here we have the heading H4 to-do list app. In order to add or insert to-do list item into this application, we need a pair of text box and button. So here it is. Here we have a text box with class form control from Bootstrap, and here we have the local reference item title, and here we have a div to show a plus button from phone awesome icons. So let me save all of these modifications here and then back to the application here. So here we have the application title to-do list app, and here we have a text box and then a button. In order to insert text inside this text box into the application, so let me add a click event for this div here. So here it is. Click. We will call this function on add and we will pass this object item title. That means local reference for this text box. Now we have to define this on add function inside the component TypeScript file here. So here it is, on add function. We have a single parameter item title. In order to receive the input text box object or reference, first of all we have called this add title function from to do service, which we have already declared add title. So here we have passed text box value into this function, so that text will be inserted into to-do list items. Finally, we have reset this text box to initial state by assigning null to this value property. Now let me save all of these modifications here. Back to the application, I'm going to add a new item here. So it will be something like this: Tony's birthday party. Click on plus. Now it should be inserted to Firebase DB. Go to database. Newly inserted record can be seen under this titles node here. Here is the corresponding key, and here we have the data. Is checked is false. Title is Tony's birthday party. Now we have to list to-do list collection inside this application. So let's look how we can do that. For that, we have already declared an array variable here, to-do list array. We can make use of this array in order to list all of the items from to-do list DB. For that, we can do this. Here we have an unordered list UL with class list group from Bootstrap. Inside that, we have iterated through this array, to-do list array. Inside each iteration, you can see this. First of all, we have a phone hour sum icon to indicate whether this item is done or not. So here we have an I tag with ng class property. Here we will apply phone hour sum icons based on this condition. If item is checked, we will apply this class for check circle -o. That means it will show a circle with a tick mark. Otherwise, we will apply this class for -circle -thing. So this will be a round circle without a tick mark. Apart from these conditions, here we have applied this class text success if item is checked. That means it will give a green color to this phone hour sum icon when item is checked. And here we have shown the main data title of that particular item. Finally, we have a phone hour sum icon for delete operation. Let me save all of these modifications here and back to the application here. So here we have listed to-do list item which we have already inserted into this Firebase DB here. Now I want to show pointer cursor when we hover on these buttons, this add button and these two check and delete buttons. For that, I'm going to update global style sheet, which is styles.css. So here it is. We have added this class into corresponding buttons. Let me save this and back to the application. So here you can see pointer cursor when we hover on these buttons. Now I'm going to implement check or uncheck operation for this to-do list item. For that, I'm going to add a click event for this phone hour sum icon. So let me add a click event for this pan click event. Then we will call this function alter check. Into this function, we have passed two parameters, item key, then is check property. It will pass true or false based on whether it is checked or not. So we have to define this function alter check inside this to do component TypeScript file here. So we can define the function alter check. It has two parameters, key and is check parameter. We will call this function from service check or uncheck title. We have passed the corresponding item key, and then here we have toggled this boolean parameter. If it is already checked, we want to uncheck that. So if it is true, we will pass false. If it is false, we will pass true. And thereby we can do completed or uncompleted operation. Let me save all of these modifications. I'm going to add one more item here called mom. Click on add. So here we have added this job called mom. Suppose I have attended Tony's birthday party. I can check this item. For that you can click on this circle. So it is updated to tick circle. And here we have completed the job and changed this phone awesome icon. As we have discussed, these items will be sorted from unchecked to checked. Finally, we have to implement delete operation using this phone awesome icon for trash. So let me add a click event for this trash span here. We have a click event. We will call this onDelete function. As a parameter, we will pass the particular item key. We have to define this function onDelete inside the component here. OnDelete, we have a single parameter $key. In order to delete an item from Firebase DB, we have already defined a function remove title inside this service class. So here we have just called that function by passing this key value. Let me save all of these modifications here. Back to the application. Let me add one more item. Go to gym, click on plus here. So here we have added the item. Now I'm going to delete this record. Go to gym, click on this delete button here. So here we have deleted that particular item. So that's it guys. We have discussed how to create a to-do list app in Angular 5 using Firebase. If you found this video helpful, please thumbs up this video. And for more awesome videos like this, please be subscribed to this channel .NET Mob. You can download this project source code from the link given below in video description. Please like and share this video with your friends and colleagues so that they can benefit from this. Have a nice day. Bye.